we are honored to have one of the all-time greats at TCU baseball in studio with us here at the Flying T Club studios right now. That, of course, is former TCU baseball coach, Hall of Famer, couple of Hall of Fames. We'll get into that later on. Lance Brown joins us right now. Good to see you, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is an honor to have you. We figure, hey, baseball season, prime time of it right now, getting close to postseason, a perfect time to visit with you. Do you keep your eye on the Frogs still?
Yes, yes. I think was out, what was that, just last week. Watched a game on Sunday when they were playing. So, yeah, I get out as often as I can.
What do you think of this year's team? What do you think of what Kirk's
They're
done?
pretty good.
Yeah.
He's done a great job, you know, and they've been up and down. I think that's the mark of a great coach is he's had them when they've lost 4 or 5 in a row. They bounced back. They haven't just died. So I think he's doing a great job. It's good.
The game has changed a little bit, obviously, with the NIL and the transfer portal, but it's still about producing runs, and it's still about pitching it.
Right. Yeah, it still is. And that's altered somewhat in terms, I know that things have gotten a little more mechanized, I guess, now. We're more in terms of pitching velocity and spin rates, and I'm the old school, just how can I get this guy out?
Right.
You know, I don't care what my velocity or my spin rate, but he has done such a phenomenal job. I've been in the bullpen 2 or 3 times just watching what they're doing, and it is amazing, you know, all the equipment they use and how they get their people prepared. So, yeah, it's
The
a neat
technology's advanced a
deal.
little, has it not?
Yeah, that's way over my head.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to get my phone working, let alone that stuff.
You were part of the plan to put together the stadium that has now sort of settled in. Lupton has settled into a really neat collegiate setting, hasn't it?
Right, it has, and that was one of our deals that we kept working on. You know, was where do you put it? And it had to be, the lights could only be so high, so we had to dig down, which was a lot of money, but we wanted it to be fan-friendly and have people be able to come there and watch a game. Almost no matter where your seat is, you could see the game well, and I think it's lived up to that. And, of course, since they've added all the hitting cages and all that, that's just made it that much better. But, yeah, I think it's a great facility, almost as good as our old one, you know.
I was waiting on that.
Almost as good as our old one. But anyway, no, it's a phenomenal college facility and a phenomenal college atmosphere, I think, for baseball.
And fortunately, you got to coach that the first year in it, which is
Right.
great. So you put the old one to bed,
Right.
and
right.
then you got to bring this one online.
Yes, and that was a big experience, you know. You don't get into all the things. You know, really at one time they wanted us not to build that stadium, to put it in a complex downtown, sort of like Oklahoma City.
Right.
And they'd play minor league and TCU and other places, and we chose, at least the brass chose, no, to stay on campus. So that was a huge decision that we made, and then, of course, to build the thing and get it going. So,
You know, we smile now about the old place,
right.
but there were some nuances to it that you could take advantage of,
Yeah.
and really make it a home field. I just remember the ramp, the
Yeah.
concrete ramp in the outfield,
Center field.
center field. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask if you miss it, but there were things about it that had some character, right?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? We had a great playing facility. Everybody always commented. when
On
they
the field
came,
itself, right?
What a great playing facility it was. But it was interesting to watch people not be able to play that.
Yeah.
The wall came off at a different angle than anybody thought it was, and going up the wall,
Yep.
having to get up there after a ball. And so, yeah, there was a lot of – so we didn't really mind, you know, and it was sort of short, but the weird part was the wind blew from right field foul pole to left field. So unless you hit it, we called it the Joshua tree. I don't know why. There was a tree in left center. If you could hit it there or left, you had a home run. If you hit it to the right of it, Babe Ruth couldn't have gotten one out of that park. So that was an interesting phase of that, watching people.
I want to rewind a little bit. West Plains, Missouri.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it true? At one point, did you think about going in the ministry?
I was. In fact, I spent 6 years, I think, at TCU and had some churches while I was playing pro ball, and that's what I studied. And came back after I got released and said, okay, I'm ready. And I think really God looked down and said, no, not him in the pulpit. Let's move him on. But they said, well, sure, in 3 years, as soon as you go to graduate school. And I go, are you joking? I've been here 6 years. I've had churches, been head pastor and all. And they said, well, no, that's what you got to do. So Coach Windegger called me one day and said, would you be interested in coaching? And I said, well, I guess. Why? And he said, Arlington Sam Houston needs a baseball coach. So I really thought maybe I'd go into baseball for a year or two and go to school. And that never happened. You know, I went to Arlington Sam and then coached high school for years. And then,
then with the Astros for a little while, right?
When I was at Rice, I started throwing batting practice with the Astros, and then came to TCU, and then threw batting practice with the Rangers, and that was, where I think I really got to watch Nolan Ryan every day, how he prepared, and totally different atmosphere in the clubhouse on the day he pitched. Yeah. And what he went through and then he helped us coach, I guess.
I was going to say, that had to be your best recruiting job, was to convince Nolan Ryan to coach with you.
Well, that was, I used to tell him, I know you're not making much money, and so if you'll come with us, I'll help you through your bad times, your low times. Right. We'll help you a little bit through. But, it was so amazing that we thought that would be a great recruiting tool. But we didn't get that many. People wanted to meet him, wanted to get his autograph. But then, they'd end up going to somewhere else. Right. And we go, the heck here, this isn't working out like we thought it was. But no, he is, of Yogi, we talked about Yogi Berra, but Nolan, the most amazing baseball mind I've ever been around. He would sit in our dugout and just sort of look out, during the game. And then occasionally he'd go, do you mind if I talk to the team after the game? I go, no, go right ahead. Brian, he would start inning one, offense, defense, pitching, almost pitch by pitch, how this made it, what you did made a difference. And I'm going, I can't even remember that. Yeah. So, I have no clue because I'm writing stuff. So he just knew that. It was amazing. But it's also amazing that, let me tell you one thing. He had, when he took his stuff, he would show up in gray pants and a white top and a 10.5 shoe on the left foot and size 11 shoe on the right foot. You're going, and finally I said something to Ruth, and he said, well, you realize in the big leagues he never dressed himself. They all put his gear out, and I think he's colorblind. I think she said that. And so he'd come with you'd go, are you joking? You're a big league Hall of Fame and you're dressed like that, But anyway, it was just to watch him and his mind, unbelievable.
Two things before I let you go. You probably got a tea time today, don't you?
Yes, I am. Okay. Going to play.
How are you playing right now, by the way?
I haven't played much. I've had some knee injuries and stuff. And hey, if you have time, here's how golf, everybody always talks about my golf. Here's how golf came around. When I was with the Astros, Larry Durker, there was a pitcher, announcer, manager. These rookies asked him, what do I do in the off season to get ready to pitch in the big leagues? And he goes, play golf. And they go, shut up, come on, give me a break. Right. He said, no, if you're mentally tough enough to go out and really focus and do your best on every shot. But he said, I watch you guys pitch. Shortstop makes an error, you don't get a call. Before long, you've given up 3-4 runs. Right. And so I thought about that, and then eventually it even got into my coaching a little, because you're behind 8-0, second inning, and you're going, okay, who are the people that haven't gotten in a game in a month? And I got to thinking, no, why don't we get a run in the third, and maybe a couple in the fourth, because he would talk about if you make a bogey instead of quitting, why don't you think about maybe I could make a birdie 3-4 holes down the road? And so anyway, it was a unique deal. So that's where golf sort of got to be in. I would try and go out and play. It was so hard because, it's so easy to hit a bad shot and then just bloop. Right. So it really was an amazing concept that I bought into from that. So I can't do that now, but I try sometimes.
There's one thing I've always admired about you, and that is no matter what you've done it with class, and I appreciate that about you. I've always thought you handled yourself in every situation and circumstance with class.
Thank you. And that came from, when I first started, my number one thought, I guess, from religion was try to treat people like you would like to be treated, and even later, more so maybe how would they like to be treated, because I grew up in an atmosphere where praise wasn't too ready.
Right.
And my wife used to say, "What are you doing? Why don't you tell them?" You always yelling at them. And I'm going, okay. And then sure enough, I remember I was coaching early and I'd go, "You guys are so pathetic." And they'd go, "What's this? I'll show you." And then I'd go, "You guys are so pathetic." "Yeah, I know. I don't understand why they," and I go, "Okay, I might need to change that." But except for one outburst against the Aggies, I think I handled everything, tried to handle everything
Just
well. Yeah, just one little
just one
outburst.
Can you come back and we talk umpires one day?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you need an
I might
hour?
go 3, 4, 5 hours.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Lance, great to see you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
stopping in
for
here.
having
It's an
me.
honor.
Well, thank
Pleasure.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Hey,
you.
let's pull on the frogs at the end here now. Let's see if we can
we
go in
got
as
to
number
do
one
that.
seed and go get them.
Yeah. Santa Clara coming up.
Santa Clara this weekend. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank
That's Lance
you.
Brown, the former head baseball coach.